handle the truth.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good day. Get back to this Epstein stuff and everything like that. Oh, before we do that, I want to bring y'all's attention to, I don't know if you watch it or not, the Chinese Spring Year celebration with the robots, the Kung Fu robots, and the drone show that they put on. If you go back last year and look at the one they put on last year with the demonstrations, which was pretty amazing then, compared to the ones they have put out to this time, it's a big advance in technology and ability. And these robots that they had, guys, was doing kung fu with nunchucks and a pretend sword and stuff like that, and actually mimicking the kung fu moves. Now, of course, they said they was operated behind the scenes with a choreographer mimicking the moves, but the moves that these things could make, guys, was really, really kind of amazing. It was very nimble and very articulate in what they was doing and carrying out things pretty quickly. And the other thing that brought my attention was the drone show. It looked almost like a hologram, almost perfectly like a hologram, guys. And in certain settings, you couldn't tell it from the real thing. And it's amazing about this and everything that they was able to do this. And it's all because of this kind of like a hive mind technology that they have, where all these things were operating on the same setup and everything. But the amazing part of it, and they avoided any collisions and contact, guys. They're talking about several thousands of these drones in the air at the same time carrying out their own operation. Same thing with dozens of robots also interacting with each other and around each other and their surroundings. They have something like it's what we call a proximity sensor, but it's also part of the hive mind that tells them exactly where they are at in relation to the other members of their group. And this is collected all together, and also their group is connected to the other groups. And each individual unit also knows where the unit is. It's on the far edge of the display, or the last little robot that's in this part of this particular unit and everything. They would know exactly where they are and what they're doing at the same time, and everybody connects together. And guys, that's kind of scary, that each one of these robots can carry out its own autonomous actions while being aware of what the others are doing and adapting itself to what the others are doing, while also still carrying out its parameters, its mission. And we're talking about advancements, guys, and we heard about the drone wars and the robot wars, guys. We're looking at it right now. And one other thing about this is what they're showing us. And we all know that they don't tell us what they have. They just show us what they want us to know. And just remember that what they show us is at least 50 years behind what they actually have. So it's just kind of startling, guys. And we're talking about going to war with China, guys, right now. And if they can mass produce these robots with this hive mind knowledge of each other and what each other is doing, it's kind of frightening, guys. To be honest with you, it's a little bit on the scary side of what this can do. And put them in a human skin suit, something like the mask that they use now that looks and feels like real skin. Well, guys, they could be coming to your door and ordering you to come down to the reclamation center, and you wouldn't know the difference. Anyway, that's a side note. Anyway, back to this Epstein stuff. As I mentioned, he was been collecting DNA samples and using this for whatever means and everything. And of course, I mentioned that these underground facilities where they grow clones, babies and everything, and they use this for different processes, replacing people, organ harvesting, et cetera, or for their own vile needs. You know what I'm talking about, the sacrifices and the bloodletting and the flesh eating and the adrenochrome. Just to recap, the adrenochrome that they're talking about, this jerky they're talking about, it's refined adrenochrome down to the purest element of adrenochrome, and they freeze it. And this is jerky. This is what they're talking about, jerky. It's not flesh like we think. It's even worse. So anyway, he's been collecting DNA samples, a lot of it, from this one, that one, there. Anybody that went to his places, traveled on his plane, etc., that he collected their DNA samples. Of course, mentioned that they used these in these experimentations, these underground facilities, or these warehouse facilities, and who knows what. But there's other things he was using it for too, guys, because, they got it. one other side note is that Israel's very far advanced in genetic research and DNA manipulation, as well as artificial intelligence research. So that's that. Okay, now, a few years back, they said they found the tomb of Gilgamesh. And that's kind of startling, guys, because they talked about then, shortly after that, they talked about finding a way to reanimate Gilgamesh. The other thing of note before that, though, they found this black coffin, this solid black granite coffin with no writing, no insignias or anything, but it was sealed, and they didn't open it. They announced a little bit of word about it, but all of a sudden it was hushed up. But it was taken for where it was found, and I don't remember where it was, but it's near the same area. And they took it off in a helicopter, and it's never been seen since. Remember, a few years back, they found giants in Afghanistan. And, of course, we know about them raiding for artifacts in the Middle East during the war with Iraq and Afghanistan. We all heard about that, and then that's where the tomb of Gilgamesh came from. And to talk about the Euphrates rivers and Tigris rivers drying up and the things undercover. But going back to Gilgamesh, they talked about reanimating him and perhaps whoever was in the black coffin. It was rumored that the black coffin, because of the way it was and everything, indicated a high-ranking priestess of some kind or another. So it's not too hard to figure out that if that was the high-ranking priestess, and Gilgamesh was a high-ranking priest, so you know that the two perhaps may be connected. Now back to Epstein stuff. Now he's been collecting this DNA, and actually he's not really just been collecting it randomly. It's actually doing a genetic search for certain bloodlines, certain genetic codes that to be used for something else. Of course, the genetic codes, the genetic material they collected was used for something else if it wasn't what they was really looking for. But they was building a genetic database for certain things, for a certain something that's been on the burner for a little while. And I do believe it may be perhaps connected to this reanimation of Gilgamesh and whoever it was in the black coffin along with Gilgamesh or somewhere around there. There's a lot of speculation that can be made on this, guys, and there's other aspects of this genetic collection that was going on with him and others throughout the world. It's not the only one doing it, but he's the one in the light. So he was collecting genetic material, genetic code, looking for specific genetic codes. And it's not too hard to imagine what this person or that person or whoever's running the program was looking for genetic code. And it really kind of started up after they found Gilgamesh. I hope you'll have a groovy day. Always look out and try to do something nice for somebody. With as much negative energy in the world, guys, it's the only thing we can do is start putting out positive energy. So roll you up a fatty, smoke a little bit, get your head full of good vibrations, and go spread them forth into the world. All right? Y'all have a groovy day. Later, taters.
Attention passengers, we've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.